Guys, so in today's video, we're gonna approach the idea of what it means to work out, how to approach working out, how to look at progress in your workouts, and how to kind of navigate that. First of all, when we train, we want to really focus on progressive overload. That's literally the secret to kind of making progress in terms of building muscles and getting stronger. So getting your body toned and getting your body to react to what you're doing. Progressive overload could just mean be better than last time. So each and every workout, you should focus on being better than last time. And the only way that you can do that and make sure you do that is to track your workouts. So each and every workout, you are gonna track how much weight you're lifting, for how many repetitions, and for what sets. So you have an idea of what you've been doing before, and when you get to your workout the next couple of days or the week after, you see, what did I do back then? What can I try today? The whole idea of progressive overload is to either increasing weight that you're lifting or increasing repetitions that you're doing with the same weight, or add volume, meaning you have, instead of 3 sets, you have 4 sets. It can also mean to have a better technique, a better control of the weight. It can also be having shorter breaks. It means your endurance is higher. This is just, as you can hear, just a way to see that you're better than last time you trained, right? So in one of these areas, you can do some improvement each and every workout. And it's not gonna be like this forever, in the sense that's always gonna be your focus, the kind of ideal version of yourself and the actual workouts. But it's not gonna be possible with the time going in 5 years. If you keep working out at the same rate and you're focused, of course, progressing in strength is gonna reach a top, is gonna go much slower, for example, because you kind of pushed your limits already. But for the beginners or people that just started, or people that started on an actual program, it is very possible to make a lot of progression. The key is like how to play with weights. So people ask me, how much should I use to do this exercise? How much weight should I get? And this is a question that I cannot answer, right? It's just a matter of trial and error. It's taking the 2 dumbbells, it's taking a barbell, it's taking a band, is trying the exercise and see how does it feel. Can I get to the repetitions that it says in my program? So if my program says that I need to do a shoulder press and I need to do 3 sets and I need to get 8 to 10 reps, this means I'm gonna need to just, if I have no idea and I'm not trained, or I started training after a while, or I'm not sure where I'm at, it would just literally mean to go choose a pair of dumbbells that I think I can handle for 8 repetitions to 10 repetitions and try it out. Let's imagine that I take 4 kilos, all right? So I have 4 kilos here, 4 kilos here, and I just go on, start my exercise, and I count, and I can tell that I actually can take 15 repetitions. This is not 8 or 10. This means that it's too easy. It means that in order to be able to get 8 or 10, I need to go heavier. Then I would just try then and go up to maybe 5 kilos or 6 kilos and see if I get into that rep range, if I can manage to hit 8 to 10 with that weight. And let's say that I take 6 kilos and I arrive at 10, all right? This means that 6 kilos is a good starting point for me. And this means that I can perform set number 2 and set number 3 with 6 kilos and see if I can still get 10, or if I'm tired a little bit, even after breaks, and I can only get maybe 9 and the third 10, then I track it. So I write it down. And this would mean that next time I go to the gym, I know, all right, I did with 6 last time and I could get 10, 9, 8. Let's try to see if I can either decide to stick with the 6, pay attention to your form and everything, and try to see if I get 10, 10, 10 instead of 10, 9, 8. And that would be a progression. you just pulled more weight. You can also decide to say, let's play with it and let's see if I can go, instead of 6 kilos, let's go up 1 kilo. And you see that you can actually get 10 this time, and then you get 9 and 8. So you are better than last time, where we only had the same repetitions, but it was only 6 kilos. And this is the way you approach it. So you can also decide to play with it. It doesn't mean that the second you choose dumbbells, you cannot change them through the whole exercise, through the whole sets. So you can start your exercise and say, I'm gonna go now, I'm fresh, right? It's the first time, it's the first set, so maybe I'm fresh. I can just do a little bit of a warm-up set or two with like maybe 2 or 4 kilos just to feel the movement. And then I go and pick up 8 kilos or 9 kilos or even 10 kilos and see if I can get to that 8 repetitions. And maybe I can get there. It's very, very tough because it's hard. And you can decide that the second set, you just go down to less kilos. So you go from 8 to 6 or from 10 to 8. And then the third, you can also go even lower. The point is that you need to stay in that range of 8 to 10 repetitions, okay? But you can play with weights. You can put on more weight. You can take the weight down. So you play with it. That's what I mean when I tell you guys play with weights. Another thing that I see is that people tend to think that they need to start, that they suck or they're weak or they have lacking body parts when they can see that their shoulders and arms cannot pull that much weight. Our arms and shoulders, like I trained a ton of people at the gym as well. I see all of you guys, what you're doing. And I remember myself and I know like how the body works. So if you have shoulders and arms are never gonna be as strong, like you're never gonna be able to lift as many kilos as you can with legs and back and sometimes even chest, because legs and back are the biggest muscle groups of our body. They have much more strength. So of course, if you train legs and back and you see, oh, I'm stronger, I can go up to 20 kilos with some exercises. That's normal. It doesn't mean that your legs are stronger than your arms. It just means that they're bigger muscle groups and they're built to move and be stronger that way, unless you train them, like you undertrain them and you train only your upper body. Your back and your legs are much stronger. You use them much more in your daily life. And unless you have a job that is very physical, that requires a lot of lifting things this way or carrying things or like moving things with your arms and do a lot of physical work, your arms and your shoulders, your triceps are going to be much weaker. So you might expect to that is not the way it is, but it's going to be very clear to you when you start training to see that legs and back are going to be much more able to pull a lot of weight, right? Or at least more weight, sometimes even significantly more weight than your arms and shoulders. This doesn't mean anything because we are training them, so they're gonna catch up. So this is just to put things into perspective. It doesn't mean that, oh, my arms are weaker or I need to work more on my arms. It's just a natural way of your body being. So that's also important. To not kind of judge yourself based on the first times you lift or kind of forgetting that like the strength of shoulders and arms and the smaller muscle groups is less proportionally to the larger muscle groups. Another thing is also important to take into consideration that it doesn't matter how much weight you lift at all. For if my kid was to train, he would use probably half a kilo and his muscle would grow because half is a baby, right? And the same way is for us. If we train for the first time, we don't need 100 kilo to make the body react and grow. We just need to give him an incentive to kind of make him feel we're doing more than we're used to. So if more than we're used to is a 1 kilo shoulder press, that is enough for your body to grow muscle, to grow bigger muscle. It doesn't mean that you need 20 kilos or 100 kilos or whatever. It just needs the resistance of something that is not used to. That's why if you're training with 1 kilo forever, then the muscle is never gonna grow, right? But if you train with 1 kilo at the beginning and then you go up to 2 and 3 and 4 and then you go up to 20, that's the way you push through that resistance and you make your body realize we're gonna do more, harder. You need to catch up, and the body's gonna be, I need to build muscle. So no matter what, if you start with 150 kilos or you start with 1 kilo, it's exactly the same. The focus needs to be on that progression, on that progressive overload, on going harder, pushing yourself and pushing your limits, and playing with it. Look at a workout as a dynamic thing and not a static thing, as something you need to track in order to grow, if that's the goal. If your goal is just to move around, then you don't need to do that probably, but it's absolutely key if you do want to see a change in your body, that being more toned, stronger, or bigger. There is probably one last thing, that is when you train and you go up to those 8 to 10 repetitions, it's also important to consider that you don't want to go to failure. This means that if you have your 8-9 kilos and you kind of arrive at the 8 or 10, but those are the very last one and you can push like this, but you're dying, that's a failure. That is too much. You want to stop, or you want to choose a weight that allows you to arrive to between 8 and 10, but with like where you are sweating, it's hard, you push like, it's tough, right? But it still is not total failure. You still have 1 or 2 in the tank. So when you're done with the 10, you're like, okay, if I really push myself, I would have get 1, maybe more, maybe 1 more, maybe 2 more, and then you stop right before. But this is also something that you need to figure out yourself by just trying. And sometimes you will arrive to failure because you kind of want to push yourself and see, can I do this weight? And then you'll see, okay, that was too much. But then you track it and you write next to it, that was too hard. So you know the next time you can try again and see if you got stronger, or you need to go a little bit down, a tiny bit down, in order to get to the 8 and 10, but still have a tiny bit in reserve. I really hope it helps. If something is not clear or you have questions or something needs to be explained better, please let me know. But I hope this video kind of guides you through some of the basics of training, and you can post your questions right down below or just write me privately, and I'll do my best to answer all of you. Take care.